from the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel. This is a winter weather alert.
All right, it's currently 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm Fred Gossage along with Ben Luna in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center with an update on the winter storm situation already starting to evolve this evening, and that will continue through a large part of Monday. We still have a winter storm warning in effect for all 14 viewing area counties across the region that runs from now through 6 a.m. Tuesday. The counties here in pink under a winter storm warning for significant accumulations of snow. Some areas also getting sleet and freezing rain, and widespread travel impacts likely, not just tonight and Monday. They may last a while. Here's live Viper radar, and we're using Columbus Air Force Base NEXRAD, and you see heavy wintry precipitation moving into the shoals back in the Iuka. We have had some ground truth reports of some heavy sleet and freezing rain going on in the Florence area, some lighter activity a little farther north, but the heavy snow really picks up as we get back into northern Mississippi. There we'll zero in on some of the heaviest activity right now on radar. You can see that moving more east northeast than anything, and the new update to the winter precip type algorithm on the radar here puts a lot of this as a mix of sleet and freezing rain from the shoals southward, just as we've been seeing over the past hour or so. But you see back off to the west, that is heavy snow that's approaching northwest Alabama and southern areas of Middle Tennessee. Here's some of the snow rates back to the west from Highway 45 back to the west into north central Mississippi. You can see some of these heavy snow rates estimated by the radar in excess of 2 inches per hour. Means that if it falls at that rate for a full hour, you get 2-inch accumulations. So a heavy band developing already this evening, and I'll be honest, it's about 50 to 75 miles farther south than what the last run of the high-resolution HRRR model had it. And based on radar trends, it's a little closer to what the in-house Barron model had for the heavy snow band placement for this evening. So we'll see how that evolves. But just extrapolating that out based on radar placement, that looks like northwest Alabama up into southern Middle Tennessee for this initial first batch and burst of heavy snow coming through the next few hours. But we have a long way to go. This is not just going to be an hour or 2 or 3 of snow. This will be off and on, more on than off, all the way through Monday afternoon and evening. Tomorrow afternoon and evening, you can see the heavier snow extending back to the west. We're also seeing areas of moderate to heavy, finer, granular, powdery snow up to the north in the western areas of Middle Tennessee. We have had some light snow, sleet, and freezing rain moving into our parts of southern Middle Tennessee. We've seen reports already of some slick conditions up near the Etheridge area. We saw earlier on our sky cams some snow accumulation and sleet accumulation on the ground in the Waynesboro area, back into the Savannah area. So Wayne and Hardin and Lewis counties getting accumulation already. And this is only going to ramp up through the evening. This is why as early as midday, we were asking you to go ahead and wrap up travel and be off the roadways as early as 5 o'clock this evening, because once this starts to come down, because the temperatures dropping into and through the 20s now, things are going to accumulate very rapidly and only go downhill from there. And you can see the snow extends deep back into Arkansas, and there will be multiple rounds of this over the next 18 to 24 hours. This will be a longer duration winter storm situation across the Tennessee Valley here. Here's the live look to Arctic Air Skycam network. This is from Lawrenceburg. This is on the north side of town on that water tank in front of the Walmart. We're looking back across North Locust Avenue, and occasionally you may see a flurry in the shot. Not a whole lot falling. Right now, 24 is the temperature. Dew point is 16. So the temperature has come down and the dew points come up, and that will continue through the night until they meet in the middle as the atmosphere saturates. We'll head down to the shoals and check out Florence, Alabama. This is at the Harbor Marina there. 28 degrees. It was 30 last hour when we were on live at 5. Dew points come up to 18 as well. Shot has frozen from time to time, but there's been some heavy sleet and freezing rain in the shoals. That will transition over to heavy snow before too long based on radar and reports we've gotten out of northeastern areas of Mississippi. In Columbia, you see sleet and snow flying now. 25 degrees is the temperature with a dew point of 14 there. That's from the Murray County 911 and emergency Communications Center, Waynesboro here, you also see snow flying, 24 degrees with a temperature of 13. And on the last shot, while it was still daylight, we already saw snow accumulation on the ground and on the roadways. So things will only go downhill from here in the Waynesboro area as well. We'll slide over to Savannah. And things are really accumulating rapidly here in Hardin County. And looking back into McNairy County, you can see the snow really coming down and getting heavy here. The ground is white. Even in the night vision shot, you see traffic is still moving across the Highway 64 bridge on the Tennessee River, but it is moving slower now. 23 degrees is the temperature, and the dew points come up to 21. Those two are going to meet in the middle here as the atmosphere saturates. In Iuka, Mississippi, they've been under the heavy snow on radar, and we're starting to see that fall now. 25 is the temperature. Some of this may be mixed with sleet, but this is looking more and more like a rain-snow mix. Temperature of 15 at this time. You see the ground starting to get that milky appearance to it as well. So accumulation going on in Iuka at this time. So things are starting to rapidly evolve and go downhill from west to east across our area. Here's an overall look across the viewing area with current temperatures. 25 at the airport in Lawrenceburg, 25 in Columbia, 23 back in the Waynesboro and Savannah, 25 in Iuka, 28 in Florence. We're down to 30 in Athens. We're down to 32 in Decatur and Moulton. These areas were above freezing for much of the afternoon. They're dropping now as well as we start to get evaporation and cooling as things fall out of the clouds. 27 now in both Pulaski and Lewisburg. They're along the I-65 corridor. 28 in Russellville, 27 in Red Bay in the western parts of Franklin County. Now, these aren't air temperatures. These are road temperatures. This is a high-resolution model estimate of the pavement temperature of the highway based on radar conditions and surface conditions and what we know about the science that's involved with that. Last hour when we were on live, Florence had a pavement temperature estimated 37. It's now down to 31, so roadways are going to rapidly evolve. First the bridges and the overpasses and the elevated roadways, and then eventually the surface roads and streets. 33 is the pavement temperature in Lawrenceburg as well as Lewisburg, 34 in Pulaski. And then here from the dark blue into the cyan colors, we get those pavement temperatures below freezing, and that will rapidly spread into the area over the next hour or two, and roadway conditions will rapidly go downhill. If you have not completed travel plans for the evening, you need to do that as quickly as possible. Wrap that up and get home or wherever you're going to ride out this winter storm. You can see the heavy band of snow rapidly developing back in northern Mississippi. And like we were talking about, this is a little farther south than what the HUR and the NAM and some of those other high resolution models had it. So I don't think that affects the longer term forecast for southern middle Tennessee, because this also gets up into southern middle Tennessee. But what this does, it disagrees with those models that said this would stay north of northwest Alabama this evening. No, it's looking more like, based on radar, northwest Alabama gets involved in the heavy snow as we go through the evening as well. So this will rapidly go downhill with rapid accumulation for a large part of the viewing area over the next few hours here as things evolve. And what are we talking about with accumulation? Here are our latest thoughts, and we may have to adjust these a little bit based on the latest radar trends. We're going to watch this another couple hours, but we may have to pull our purple area and our white area just a few miles southward on the southern end here to include more of the Shoals Metro. We're going to watch that the next couple hours. But our heavier snow band here across a large part of southern middle Tennessee, back in the far northwest Alabama, northeast Mississippi, 4 to 6 inches of snow accumulation expected for the total event. And there could be some localized areas that see more than that. The white shaded areas surrounding that, from Columbia and Lewisburg down through the Pulaski area, Ardmore, back to near Rogersville, to the Quad Cities, back to south of Iuka here in white, that is a 3 to 5 inch accumulation. As of current expectation, we may have to expand these two total areas a couple miles south, like I was talking about. We'll watch that the next couple hours, but for right now, 3 to 5 inches of snow accumulation, some isolated totals heavier than that. South of those areas, though, you start to get into where this will mix with sleet and freezing rain a little bit more south of the Tennessee River. So we go from 2 to 3 inch accumulation of snow to 1 to 2 inch accumulation of snow here, where things will mix with sleet and freezing rain and take away a little bit of the total water equivalent away from being just snow. And those freezing rain sleet areas are here in pink. They run from about Athens to Town Creek to Littleville to just north of Red Bay and southward here, where we look to see anywhere from 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of a combination of sleet and freezing rain accumulation tonight through Monday night, and that's going to set up some slick and hazardous travel as well. Here's the latest run of the Barron High Resolution Futurecast model by 7 o'clock. Snow overspreading a large part of the area south of the Tennessee River here. It may still be a mix of snow, sleet, freezing rain, but I think from about Alabama 20, US 72 northward in Alabama on through Tennessee and North Mississippi, and it may be a couple miles farther than that for the southern line. I think it's snow as we go through the evening, and snow heavy at times, it looks like, based on radar. That continues into the overnight, and then as we get into the early morning hours, there may be a brief period here where we're in between heavier rounds and things start to slack off a little bit. But as we get closer to daybreak, heavy snow picks back up across the area in late morning to midday. As the actual upper air system starts to approach, we may start to get some really heavy snowfall rates over southern middle Tennessee, northwest Alabama, back into northeast Mississippi. That's when our most rapid accumulation may occur, and that continues on into the early to mid-afternoon before things slack down a little bit from west to east. And I think by 9 o'clock, a lot of this is on east of the area, but then we start to break up the cloud cover overnight, and that radiational cooling with a snowpack allows us to get down into the upper single digits for morning lows on Tuesday. So it's going to be frigid cold in that heaviest snow band area we're talking about, and we may need to expand that a little bit. 4 to 6 inches of snow accumulation expected, and there could be some isolated areas with heavier totals than that. Near and south of the Tennessee River, we're looking at the possibility of sleet and light freezing rain mixing in for some light icing. Not a full-blown ice storm, it looks like, but some light sleet and freezing rain causing some icing, especially on Monday as that system strengthens a little bit. Regardless of what precipitation type you get at your house, all of this added together with the cold temperatures of the upper teens to lower 20s tonight and in through our Monday, only getting into the 20s, adds up to significant widespread travel issues being likely. And because we don't get rid of the cold air for the next few days, these are travel issues that will stick around for Monday, Tuesday, maybe beyond that. We'll see how that goes over the next few days. Power outages are not going to be a big issue. I don't think they're going to be a long duration issue because this is not a big ice storm. This is snow. And yes, you can see widespread power outages with the heavy wet snow, but this is going to be a little more powdery than what we usually see, which means it's a little less sticky. However, in these heavy snow areas where we've also had some weakened tree limbs here the past couple weeks with these high wind events, we could see some isolated to scattered short-lived duration power outages. We'll be watching that carefully as we go forward. So here's an overall summary of the winter storm timeline this evening and overnight. The most steady snow begins between now and 7 o'clock from west to east. It's already beginning in the western areas now. There will be snow accumulation overnight, and it's already starting in parts of the viewing area. As we go Monday morning into the afternoon, I think this is when we really get into our heavy snow rates. As the upper level system moves across the area, widespread travel issues are likely. Snow starts to taper off from west to east Monday evening, but light flurries into the overnight and the early morning hours of Tuesday before sunrise. Excuse me. And then with the cold air in place, travel issues linger on through Tuesday, possibly into Wednesday, and with some of the shady areas with back roads in the hills, some of it may last until Thursday afternoon when we finally get these air temperatures above freezing. So to recap, before we go back to regular programming, we're going to do these updates at the top of every hour through the overnight. We'll do them on social media as well through 9 p.m. And then we'll go to channel only live updates at the top of the hour, every hour, where you can watch on smart TV, YouTube, that kind of thing. So we're not waking you up with phone notifications all night. We'll do that from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Then we'll come back on Facebook with live updates tomorrow morning. But a winter storm warning in place for the entire viewing area tonight, all of tomorrow. Tomorrow night, it does not expire until 6 a.m. This is a rapidly evolving situation now. Road conditions will go downhill rapidly over the next 1 to 2 hours. Our next scheduled live update is at 7 p.m. And we'll continue to have live updates through the overnight and through Monday as the winter storm evolves. For Ben Luna, I'm Fred Gossage, live from the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. Stay with Tennessee Valley Weather. We'll keep you advised.
You're watching the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.